We can start by drawing simple shapes. For example, here, if you click and you hold the mouse, you will see more options, but we are going to use the first one, that is this drawing a circle from the center. So we need to click on any point here on the space to draw a circle, but if we want to place it right in the 0, 0, we can use the snap tool. So I'm gonna select it and delete, and I'm gonna do it again. So click on the circle, and then let's check the grid snap. So now my mouse will snap to the grid. So I will click on this point, and then I need to click on any other point, but if I want a specific size, I can type in the command the radius, for example 30 millimeters. Enter, and I cannot see it because of the zoom, so I'm gonna zoom out and I can see this circle that I just made. If you want to know the dimensions of what you did, you can select the circle and go to analyze, and then radius or diameter, for example, and you can see here that is 60 millimeters because the radius that we drew was 30. Okay, so now I can just like copy and paste this shape, just Command C, Command V, or you can go to edit, copy, and then paste. Now if you select this, you will see two curves. So you just need to pick one, it doesn't matter which one. And we are gonna move it up. So I'm gonna type move, and I don't need to finish typing. It will give me a selection of menus that start with those characters that I just typed. So I'm gonna press enter, and now I need 2 points of reference from where I'm gonna move it to where. So I can click on any point on the grid here, and then I just need to move it up. So I can also type, I'm gonna move it up 30 milliliters. So I'm going to type 30, enter, and then it will ask me for a direction. And notice that I'm doing this in the front because I want to move it up. So it's easy to make that in the front view or the right view. So now I just need to point up. So if you have the grid snap activated, you need to make sure you click on here, straight up. But if you want to choose like a straight direction, you can press shift, and then it will give you horizontal or vertical straight, like that. And now you can click on any point, it will be vertical there, so click, and now the new circle you can see in the perspective view, and if you zoom out in the front view, we can see two, and the right view we can see two circles, same as in the perspective. And we can repeat exactly the same what we did with this circle. So Command C, Command V, and then move. So for the command move, you can just type M, enter, and it will automatically use move. And you can click on any point here, and maybe 30 again, shift, and straight up. Okay, and then I can, for example, scale up this circle, and for that I'm going to use the command scale. Make sure that the one that you are using is only scale, not scale 1D or scale 2D. Enter. And then I want to scale it from the center of the circle. So I can go to this snap menu and uncheck disable if you have it, and then select the center. If you don't have it selected, probably you don't have anything selected here, so make sure you select the center, and then every time that you go to a circle, it will show you the center of the circle if you put the mouse over the circle. So I want to do it with this one, and when I see that is marking the center, I'm gonna click. And now I just need another point of reference that maybe is this point or any of these points, but it's always marking the center, so I don't want to click on the center again. I'm gonna select another point here that it will be even near, so it will show me any point on that curve, near to that curve. Or I can use quad, that it will show me the quadrants of the circle. So for example, this one, and I'm gonna click here, and then I can scale it up. So I can use the grid to understand the measurements, because like this circle is 30 millimeters radius. So here you can see that this square in the grid is 10 millimeters, then 20 millimeters, 30. So if I click on this one, the radius of this circle will be 40 millimeters, and so on. So here 50. So let's say 40, and let's have those circles. Okay, so now I'm gonna select all of the circles. If you try to select them like that, it's gonna only select one and then the next one. So you can press Shift at the same time, and then it's gonna add to the selection the next circle. Or you can just like drag an area that is covering all of them, and it will select them. If you do it on the other direction, you don't need to cover them all, you just need to touch them. And what we are going to do now, we are going to make sure to record the history of this. We will see later why. And now we are going to use the surface Loft to create a surface that it will go through all those circles. So make sure that you see these arrows all pointing to the same direction, and then you click Enter. The order that you select these circles matters, so make sure you select the bottom first, and then the next one, and then the next one. And now I'm gonna press Enter. And if you don't see this, it's because you need to go to the view, and then you can select any of these views. For example, shaded. The default view is wireframe, so you are not gonna see any surface, but it's much better if you can visualize the surface in this way. So I'm gonna use ghosted, and I can see this move around. Okay, why did I choose record history? Because now I can edit my shape. For example, this curve, I can edit it. Let's say we want to do it freely. So we can select this gumball, and we can use the arrows here to move to one direction or the other direction. I'm gonna undo, Command Z. You can move up, move down, undo. And in all the coordinate system, but also if you click on these little cubes in any of the coordinates, you will have like a little cube that is for scale. So you can scale it in that direction. If you want to scale in all the direction at the same time, you can press Shift at the same time as you are dragging, and it will scale proportionally. And also you will have these arrows with these curves that you can drag for rotation. And you can see that my surface is updating according to what I'm doing with the curves, because I recorded the history before creating this surface. If you don't record the history, it's not going to update the surface. So let's go undo. And this is pretty interesting because you can create a family of objects that follows the same curves, but maybe different dimensions or different proportions. And this might look like a vase, but if you do it, for example, I select this curve here and I move it down, and then I select this other curve here and I move it down, and I scale it like it looks more like a plate. So with the same curves you can create different shapes. And what we are going to do now is, like, for example, I have this one, and I just need to create the bottom of this, and I'm gonna select this curve, the one at the bottom, and I'm going to use surface planar curves. And what this is going to do is a surface that will be the bottom of my shape. And this is one surface and this is another surface, so make sure now that we combine these two surfaces by selecting this and shift select the next one, and now we are gonna join those two surfaces. So type join, enter, and it's gonna tell us that we are gonna lose the history. So that's fine if you are not gonna make any other changes. If you plan to make more changes, I would recommend you to copy and paste this shape and then join the, or copy and paste the surfaces and join the surfaces in another shape. For example, let's cancel this. So I'm gonna select both. This is the first surface, this is the second surface, and I'm going to just copy and paste and then move the last one here, and okay. And this one I can, yeah, still have the history, so undo. And with this one now you can make sure you select both. You can just like drag the shape. Remember that the direction that you drag matters in Rhino. For example, in this way you need to cover the whole shape. If you don't cover the whole shape, it's not going to select anything. But on the other direction, you don't need to select the whole shape. You can just touch the shapes that you want to select. So now I'm gonna type join, enter, and this is my final shape. And if you notice here, now I can select this and it will be everything. So now I just need to export this shape. So make sure you select it and you go to File, Export Selected, and what we want to export is a file that will be STL. That is what we are going to read in the slicer software. So make sure you select STL and then you save it. I'm gonna save it with actually with the same name, Simple Base, and then I can export it. And then it's gonna show me some settings for saving this, because Rhino geometry works with these surfaces, but then like the other software will work with another type of surface that is called mesh. So when we export to STL, it's gonna transform these surfaces into a mesh. And for example, if we put here preview, we can see how the mesh will look like. And we can maybe make a faster one and preview, and you see it has less resolution. So the more resolution, the bigger the file, but it's not so much difference. I don't think you need to do so many changes here. You might have these simple controllers. So here you can preview, and here you can open the detailed controllers. And when you are ready, you can apply and then export. And that's it. And then we are going to open that file in the Cura software.